I bought another transformer wagon. Cannot believe it. Paid £66 for this. Reason being it was, well, had some damage on it, and I was going to use it for spares, or maybe just do it up and see whether I can repair it or not, because it is so cheap. That's all the box of the instructions and etc. And I've had it all in bits at the moment. There's been bits missing off it. Just rebuilding all the gantry overhead system. There's some parts missing off the back there, but it's really difficult to find out where all these little bits go. And then I've got whoever's had it has taken it apart incorrectly, and the snapped off the lug, and it is trapped inside this unit here. That's the one that's okay, and the one that was trapped, I've had to disassemble the bogie system. That comes apart with one screw there, and then you get access to a plate underneath with another 4 screws, and that comes off. Then you get access to another plate with another 4 screws, and it all interlinks, and you can see the spring-loaded system there. And this slides left to right, but that clip needs taken out. That pressure-loaded clip needs taken out, and then that's got to be super glued with special glue back onto that lug there on inside there. So it's similar to that basically. It's snapped off. On the other side, so it's all quite intricate and very nicely put together. So got a couple of spare Fleischmann couplings there, got some extra bars there, not sure what they're for. This section here is for when you link the locomotive, sorry, the wagon, when you take out the centre part, the load carrying part. You can take that off and then push these two together and have it in a shorter version, operating version. But other than that, it's pretty much immaculate. That's a load marine engine painted in the bluey grey colour. That means it's an exhaust power engine, apparently. I think each marine engines are painted in different colours depending on what the purpose is. So that is like a bluey grey colour, and I'm using that one as a reference. I've got it back up there to see where all the broken parts go back on. So up to now it seems to be virtually intact. Just got to make sure these bars here are all put back and straightened up and a bit bent. These plastic bars here. Other than that, I should have this working soon. I don't think these steps are part of it. And these surplus bars here, I'm not sure what they're for, so I'll have to have a look. I'm going to put, the next part to put on is going to be the roof caging system to go on top of that control cab. And then obviously I'm going to fix the lug, and hopefully that'll be back in perfect working order. I just got it glued back now with power bond, which is really powerful glue. So it's back in its position. Sussed it out which way it went in and how it snapped. So I've just got to rebuild the plate, all that plate mechanism there, that goes back into there. It really is extremely well designed, this wagon. The way it goes together and comes apart. There is a special way of taking these wagons apart without damaging them when you put them in the box. You either need a special tool or a screwdriver to disassemble them in a certain way. I think I did a video on it actually a year or so ago, which I'll just flag up on the top of the video in a minute on a banner sign. So that's the next bit done. Right, put the springs back in, very carefully line them up, then carefully line up the backing plate into position, and then put the 4 screws back into that, and hopefully the clips will stay in position because it's really tricky, that bit. So I rebuilt it, screw the screws back in, careful not to over tighten because they're threaded into steel, so you just got to be careful. And then that plate slides in and locks into position with the clips, and then you can move that accordingly to how you want the wagon to skew on the layout. So that's now ready to go back into this area, and that drops in into there. Then we turn the wagon upside down and put the other backing plate back on. The next step is to not position the plate in yet, but position this screw which holds the other side of the plate in position. So we've got to put that in next. Being very careful, so anti-clockwise. Just make sure it's lined up correctly. And then nip it up, not too tight. And then that other plate goes over the top. And then the other securing screws go in over the top of that. Next thing to do is to connect the chassis to the bogie system. The multiple bogie systems with the support beam car truck on top of the bogies. It's just one screw for that. So, yeah, it's essential to make sure that's not cross-threaded, that screw, and to make sure it's not over-tightened. Little nick up, and that all swivels round. Multiple articulated axles in all different directions. So that's all done. The only other thing I've got to do is install a tiny hand brake handle on one of the ends here with special glue again, Unibond, and then I've got these other surplus bits. I think these are something else, I don't know, so I'm going to have to identify, because all the other bits are there. The hydraulic arm bits. Oh, actually no, I think there's one missing actually. I found out which one it is now, I think. Actually no, they're not, they're all there, they're just bent slightly, so these surplus parts here must be off another model. I'm not sure where these bits are. They've got to be off something else, another model that's got mixed up in the box, and they're for the joining the wagon together without the load bearing part of the wagon. So nearly there. It has been taken apart in the past, this, I can tell, because that's sliding too easy, that one. Yeah, someone's had this in bits. There might be some I think some springs missing on this side, because that's not engaging properly, but it's no big deal. It's a heavy wagon anyway. But someone has tried to take it apart, I can tell, and they've not put it back properly on the certain screws. But anyway, that's done. Right, so it's nearly back together. Right, so I've disassembled the two load bearing sections of the wagon. Took them off. Gonna connect this jig here, which goes that way, interlinks, has a buffering zone when they connect together like that, so I'm going to make it into a short version. which I've never done on this particular type of wagon before. I have done it on the other ones, on the transformer one, which is that one, but not on this ship load wagon, or the other type of wagon. I've got the red one. So anyway, so that's the next section to do. Connect it all up using the special connection parts, which I'm glad they're still in the box. So let's do that next. This wagon you've got to take out, you don't have to, but take out one of the hydraulics, then put this one in. It's a different one with 2 connections, a solid connection, so that will link into that for that transport mode. That's that bit done. It's really difficult to get all that lined up, linked in, and there's a missing buffer cap on this particular buffer area here. But I don't know, could probably get one of them 3D printed, or maybe have a look on the Markling site, Trix, see if there's any spares, which I doubt because this wagon's well over a decade old. So anyway, next stage is to log on position that area in like that. Well, that's what I'm doing. It has to go together in an absolutely perfectly lined up manner. Those brackets have got to go the right way around and line up perfectly, otherwise it just won't go together. So that's now ready to be loaded onto the wagons, onto the bogie systems. I took the bogie system apart so I could get to the lugs on the inside of the NEM pocket, so I didn't want to force the coupling out because it can damage the spring-loaded mechanism that works, that guide bar system. And it's really difficult to actually get to the other side of the lugs. So I got this far and I thought, oh no, I'm not taking it apart any further because it's just going to turn into a can of worms. So I ended up just pulling out, putting force on the Markling coupling and putting in a new Fleischmann coupling, bit of WD-40 on the lugs, so that should be fine now. Rebuild that. What's quite interesting is all these wheels and the axles are floating axles. You've got you've got the axles that extend through the other side of the wheel and they just drop in. Then we've got these floating axles, slightly different, and these are designed to move left and right and be articulated. You can see how that moves left to right. We've got another floating axle and then another one just drops in. So I might oil these up while they're in this position, and all that's held in with that plate, and there's a screw that sort of secures it, and then there's another screw inside the middle there that holds the bogie onto the chassis. It's really really well done, this. So that's one side done. The other side, I'm not going to go to the same trouble. I'm just going to pull, sorry, on this one I'm going to carefully pull out Markling coupling, but in the past that has caused springs to dislodge and go out of position. That's why I don't like doing it. It's now ready to be engaged. Just got to be really careful. I might possibly snap the one I've repaired, the lug, doing this. So I'm just going to do this in a minute, but nice equal pressure on both sides. That's all engaged now. All engaged properly and nothing snapped. What I did to put round the holes where the lug's going, WD-40 again to give it lubrication to get in there, and then that's it. This wagon is now fully commissioned as a different type of wagon, with the load bearing girders removed, and obviously no load will be carried in this mode. The big ship engine will stay back in its box, or I can put it on another wagon if I want. And these will go back in the box, and all the accessories. I just need to put a little brake handle on, and that is it. I can go on the layout then. Quite like that. Right, so there we go, it's all finished. All the details added, all the little missing detail parts all done, commissioned on the connection of the specialised centre bit.